Well, hi, thanks for joining me here in my shop on March 22nd for what's probably going to be a short video with this radio. So the point I'm at with it is it's largely working okay, except the FM side of things is very weak and a little bit distorted. So, this could be caused by all kinds of stuff. I want to try to eliminate something, and that's I want to try to eliminate the issue of whether it's aligned properly in the tuner box up here. I'm not 100% comfortable in doing this, but I don't really know any other approach right now. If there's an alignment issue up here, and I go off looking for components and stuff like that, I'm going to drive myself nuts. So there are quite a number of adjustments in here. On this diagram, they're all marked in these square boxes. A24, A23, 25, 26, 19, 20, 22. There we are. Could be any one of these adjustments or all of them in combination. To set up to do a proper alignment is difficult for me in my shop here. I do have a very nice piece of equipment here, but this is fixed at 100 megahertz in the center of the FM dial. On the instructions, of course, put the pointer down here, do these things, put the pointer up here, do these things, and have a signal generator that will reach these frequencies. I do have signal generators that'll do it, but they're pretty rough. It's pretty involved to get all that to operate, and I want to set all that up and then find out there's really nothing wrong with the alignment. So I do have another option aside from trying to utilize this piece of equipment, and that's just to tune in a station and then start twiddling the alignment adjustments up here. That's a dangerous game. That's a dangerous game because it's very easy to take something that maybe this is all correct and turn it into something that's not. And I've already done a little bit of twiddling up there, but I tried to return everything to exactly where it was at the start. And the radio's performance really hasn't changed the whole time I've had it. It's maybe a wee bit better on FM. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with the signal generator. It puts out a strong signal at 100. Tune this into 100, and then not really follow the instructions, but attempt to determine if there is a need to align this. The alignment tool has a flag on it, just a piece of tape, and the idea is I can turn something and then turn it back because I can see where the flag is, and I can count the number of revolutions, all that kind of stuff. That's how I'm going to minimize the risk of just simply messing things up. But that is definitely a risk here. So I'm going to turn the unit on, and the signal coming out of the signal generator is so strong, it's going to seem like everything's okay. So I may have to pat it down somehow. I mean, it's set to its minimum. It has an attenuator control here. It's set to the minimum. It's still +4. So I'm going to turn this on, let it warm up a little bit, and then I'll make my final decision and go ahead. Okay, I think the radio's been on long enough. So volume is turned up quite high. We're tuned to a station that should come in fairly clearly. I don't have a decent antenna. I have it hooked up to this signal generator. But that's another aspect of this. Could it be the case I just have never got a decent antenna on this radio? It has its own FM antenna and it's an engineered antenna. Maybe it's looking for that antenna, but that's back in the cabinet, and it's a real hassle to get this, so that the engineered antenna is hooked up to it. But it may come down to that, in an attempt to eliminate the antenna as a source of the problem. Now I'm going to tune to the signal generator. You can hear stations here. They just sound terribly weak. Okay, but when I get to here, I gotta turn this down now. That's the signal generator. it's so strong, I don't think I can, you know, without doing some more padding, that I can really utilize it. Because I want things to be sensitive enough that a little bit of tweaking will tell me the story. I think I'm going to tune back to this weak station, as is, with a non-antenna on it. This is also a CPC, and they're talking, there's no music. And we're just going to run through these different adjustments here, not even paying attention to what they really are. Some of these are the oscillator adjustments, I think. And just hope I don't make the situation much worse, or worse. These two adjustments I've already done because they're part of the output of the box, and I've done those as part of the IF alignment. So I'll leave those two alone. Let's try this one. It's way down there. I just want to get this to fall in. Okay, we're in. This is the angle of the flag. Is it you? So clicking. Got a little more out of it there. We'll try this one now. This is not a recommended procedure. Notice the flag pointing at me. Doesn't seem to do a thing. Uh-oh. This is a risk here. You can turn the slug in one direction and won't go the other way. Not making much difference. Set it back. Not going well. Another one down here. I'm in. Flag is that way. This one's stuck. It wasn't in the slug there. Stuck. Okay, how about this one? So that one, I'll try a small screwdriver on it. No flag. Feels like it's stuck also. Stuck. Okay, back to my flag one. So this is the output that I've adjusted already. I'm going to twiddle it a bit. Flag this way. This is the other part of that transformer. Can't tell if I'm getting it in the slug. Well, this didn't go well. I don't think I've proved anything here. Let's try this guy down here. Yeah, so I can't put the metal. Sometimes you can't, sometimes you can, sometimes you can't use a metal tool. Watch. Just putting it in there is throwing it off. Well, okay, that's a little bit more information for me to ponder. Not much. Not quite what I was hoping for. I'm going to have to maybe hook it up to a proper antenna. Get it back in its cabinet. Plug it into its native antenna. I'm going to have to do that as a point of elimination. Otherwise I could be chasing smoke. Maybe that's what I'm doing right now. That's a tough one. Okay, so I've got it plugged into the antenna that's built into this cabinet up at the top. Like I mentioned, it's an engineered antenna. I don't know what they were doing, so maybe it's just going to work great on here. Here we go. Oh, guys, wrong knob, Jim. No. Still picking up my signal generator from over there. Okay, that tells the story here. There's something inherent in the radio itself, somewhere between the antenna terminals and the speaker, that has a problem. Hey, I've localized it. Problems in the radio. Okay, I've got to ponder the situation now and try to decide what my next move will be with it. Well, I can say good morning again because it's the next day. It's March 23rd. And I've spent the last 24 hours pondering what am I going to do about this radio and its weak FM reception. I think the next step I can do, it's a very simple thing. I don't think it's going to reveal anything. It's just double check the plate voltages, or the voltages on the FM tube up here. Now I did the resistance checks according to the table in the service manual, and they all checked out hunky-dory, including the ones up here. So I've made the assumption that if the resistance checks check out, then almost certainly the B plus is in the right range. But I don't know that absolutely for sure, so I'm going to take a measurement and just see, because obviously if this tube is not being fed properly, then it's going to be weak. So let's just make sure of a couple of things here. Speakers are connected, and I think we can turn it on here. Turn the volume down. Start on FM. Apply some power. There we go. What voltmeter should I use? I also use my VTVM. I like using the indicating meters. I don't like the digital meters so much. I find you have to think too hard when you're looking at them. And I don't like thinking too hard. And that's a natural human trait, by the way. Human beings would rather not think. And it uses energy. So I gotta get that tube out of there. Let's just play the radio before I... Okay, it's behaving the same way. It's working, but very weak. Pull this out. And that's... I'm just seeing original equipment, it says on it. Oh, it doesn't seem to have the label on it. So this is an I believe ECC 85 off the top of my head, and that has a North American name. Well, isn't that something? Argentina. This tube is from Argentina. I didn't know Argentinians were making vacuum tubes, but I guess they were made all over the world. So I've got to stop and just figure out what pin is what before we actually stick the voltmeter lead in there. Okay, so I know you can't see this meter properly. 165 is what we're looking for in pin number 1. Pin number 1. Oh, it's a stretch. Get up there. I wonder what this sounds like with no tube. Just a quieter hiss. Okay, pin number 1. 165. And so we're on the 500 volt scale. It's not 165, it's 230 on here. 230 volts. Wow. Of course the tube is out. The tube is out. With the tube out, you can only expect it to go up. And why don't I measure it with the tube in? 2 reasons. One, can't get at the bottom of the socket in here, inside the tuning can. And the other reason is my tube extender is not long enough to get past this shield that's attached, that's riveted onto the top here. So, okay, so higher voltage, that's a good sign. Now, in this case anyway. And the other one is pin number 6. It should be a lower voltage, 125. But again, that really depends on the tube being in there. Let's just make sure there's some voltage on it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6, and there we are. It shows the same voltage. Not too surprising. The only other voltage on there that could be potentially measured, that's a pun, potentially measured, is a 1.7 volts on the cathode 3. Pin 3 should have 1.7 volts on. Here's pin 3. Let's see what we get to here. Oh, that's interesting. That is pin 3. 0. So, absolutely 0. Pin 3. Is that really true? ECC 85. This on the cathode's pin 8, it's grounded. This other half of the tube, I'm just reading these pin number designations here. 2 for the grid, 3. 3 for the cathode, 1.7 volts. I don't know, the tube is pulled out. Would that make a difference on this? I don't know for sure. That's a bit of an anomaly, I guess. 1.7. Open cathode? I don't know. 1.7. Well, there's a resistance measurement that goes with that, isn't there? Pin number 3. I've got a resistance table right here. ECC 85, pin number 3, 200 ohms. I have a green dot, which means that's what I measured. I measured 200 ohms on it. All these red dots turned out to be false. Measurement errors I was making. Okay, how to interpret all that? I think it interprets it as being okay. The voltages are there. I tell you, I'd like to know if the output of this is normal on these leads. I don't know what normal is. I can't find anything that's helping me with determine that. Let's put this in. Is this the right tube? I did tube testing and I tested it. It came out okay. It's bound to be the right tube, I would say. Well, what is next? If I fed the correct level of signal that should be at this point, at this point, let it go through the rest of the radio, hear if it comes out sounding normal. But I don't have that signal. That would be an FM modulated 10.7 megahertz signal of a known value. I don't have it. Or if I try to measure this, which I don't think I can, because because the measurement will interfere with the result. I would have to again know what to expect. I don't know what to expect. Boy, I tell you, you know what would be really helpful here is if I had another one of these. If I had another one of these radios, I can make some, like a working one. A working one would be good. Another one of these working. I could make comparisons, or even do crazy stuff like try to cross-feed signals between them and stuff like that. Wow, if only I had another one of these radios. I'd be pretty lucky if I had another one of those radios. Ta-da! So this radio was dropped off just a couple days ago, and I looked at it, and the first thing I realized is, oh my gosh, it's essentially identical to this one. I'm just looking at it now. There's a slight variation in it, but not much. You know, some of the buttons are of a different sort, but look, ding, ding, clock, ding. Same basic layout. Magic eye up here. Bands are a little bit different. This has a shortwave and it has an L here. Here they have just shortwave 1 and shortwave 2. Presence, brilliance, treble. Presence, brilliance, treble. Well, I'll be. This one's called the Turin Dot. And this one has a different name. I can't think of it right now. It's on the cabinet. It's a different name, a slightly different model. So, considering that I've kind of run up against a hard spot with this one, maybe I'm going to lay this one aside, turn my attention to this radio, try to get this radio operating. I think it suffers from weak FM also. I hope not. Work on this one, get this one to a state where it can help me with this guy in one way or another, even just comparative measurements and things like that. I think that's what I'm going to do. So I think I'm going to stop working on this radio for a while, spend time with this one, and then this one will come back in the picture at some point. We'll just see how that goes. Either this guy is going to help me solve this one, or I'm going to have two troublesome radios sitting here on my bench together. I don't know. So thanks a lot for watching so far. We're going to switch to a different radio, but not much different going forward from here.